you mentioned Guardiola was a revolutionary now in football, and it wasn't easy for him to go to Germany in the conservative country football-wise to change a lot of stuff, and Bayern Munich still make use of his old principles to play their football. And you mentioned also Jose Mourinho, who is not new to revolutions. No, since the days he was at Porto, he applied the tactical periodization. No, so that was another big step in football. No wonder he won Porto. No, so when you think,
that's also
so basically, to wrap up, not wrap up MBM method, but to a single word for MBM method, it's like thinking outside the box. No,
it's thinking outside the box. And when you step outside the box, you have to go into the brain. And there you will find the solutions. And this is happening today. I think in the near future, actually, at the top of science, they tell us, in the middle of this century, we will be a neuro society. And it's quite logical because we already talk a lot about it, artificial intelligence. Although, watch out, computers are far away from the human brain. The human brain is a million times stronger than a computer. We try to combine those two things, but look, a human brain, when we do something, to give you an idea, when you're learning something in the background, okay, that's cognitive, there's also emotion. When you're moving, we thought for many years, moving goes about using your muscles. Oh no, moving means a biomechanical activity, a cognitive activity, and an emotional activity. And if the fire is not burning, if the emotion, and then it goes through curiosity, is not there, at the outside, you get the impression it works, but at the inside, nothing remains. That is the big problem. We didn't know that today, when we put athletes or players in a scanner, we can see a lot. I can give you an example. I was involved in, actually, the Japanese invited me to be part of a documentary on Neymar and Oscar. It was before the World Championship in Brazil. And I had to develop a test to find out what was happening in Neymar's brain. So at that moment, he was playing at Barcelona, Oscar Chelsea. So I had to make contact with the clubs. I had to prepare together with the University of Leuven a test that could make it possible that we could have an idea what was happening in Neymar's brain while he was performing. Now, you will not believe, everything was, we tested out everything in PSV Eindhoven with the under 17. There was a lot of science involved. But at the moment we wanted to organize a test in Barcelona and in Chelsea, both players got injured. I don't know if you remember, Neymar had a problem with one of his toes, so nobody expected him to participate, to play in the World Championship. So I can assure you this was hard working for many months. But anyway, what did the Japanese decide? They spoke with him and said, do you agree we put you in a scanner and we'll do something very simple to find out what's happening in your brain? You know what they did? Neymar got into a scanner and they asked him, turn your feet, your ankles. So he had to turn his left and his right foot to stretch out, to do a number of movements. And at the same time, they checked what was happening in Neymar's brain. Then they repeated the same with other professional players and amateur players. You know what the conclusion was? When you ask Neymar to do all those movements, there is almost no brain activity. When you go to the professional players, you already see a lot of brain activity. And if you go to the amateur players, you see incredible activity. What is now the contradiction? when we see a lot of activity at the outside, a skilled player doesn't have activity in the inside. So skillfulness means the moment you master a number of things, you have very low brain activity. And a lot of coaches think, if I see a committed player with a lot of physical commitment, with a lot of power, this is the way to do it. While the best players in the world, when they use their skills, they only have very few activity in the brain. This is the contradiction between what we see at the outside, the output, and what's happening in the brain. Nobody knew this. And now slowly, because it's confirmed, there is research from Norway, Vesberg, and I forgot the second name. This also provoked a lot of reaction because Vesberg was involved in the same documentary. He had to check Iniesta and Xavi Hernandez. And what did they do? That was the first time they were checked on executive functioning. So when Xavi Hernandez and Iniesta passed the test, the scientists couldn't believe what they found out. They said, but this is not normal. The brain activity is sensational. And then they started to talk with Xavi Hernandez, and he confirms it also many times. He said, I was not the fastest. Physically, I was not so strong. But when another player thinks at 80 kilometers an hour, I think at 200 kilometers an hour. And now we got the confirmation through the research. It is really like that. They see it faster, they anticipate, and if you start looking to them in a different way, you will see how the head is moving around. Continuously, they are screening. So they anticipate, they can actually, and then later on, now they do it in many professional clubs. They show some videos and suddenly they stop the video and they ask the player what's going to happen. All the top players, they already know what's going to happen. Kevin De Bruyne, I've worked with him as well. He is 2 seconds ahead. I was very happy when 2 days ago he explained on Belgian television, okay, the first goal of Man City. Oh yeah, but for me it's not difficult. I immediately recognized the pattern. No, it was the second goal. He said, I saw the 2 players, Erdogan, and I knew this is the space to play the ball, but I already knew we were going to score. So I did it already with several. Dries Mertens is confirming this as well. He said, when I arrive in front of the goal, I already know what's going to happen. And then he says, you can ask him. That's something you have learned me. They are always ahead. And in the Belgian national team, Kevin De Bruyne can speed up, but also if you make a video analysis of Dries Mertens, you see that through his passing, he speeds up the game. And yesterday evening as well, now this is the absolute topper, but if you look to the passing speed of Bayern Munich and what PSG, although PSG has the advantage that with Neymar and with Mbappé, yeah, in the counter, they have exceptional weapons. But measure the speed of the ball, forget it. Physically, you can never anticipate this with physical play. And also the patterns, the structures, the passing and the controlling, that explains a lot.